We have 1 hour to record this and to make it perfect.
Got it. Challenge accepted.
All right, I'm taking my pants off.
It's getting.
Mine's already off.
Everybody assume the positions. We're doing this human centipede style.
Let's get it.
All right, so who would be in the front?
That's how we're starting this off. That's
I'd be in
actually a
the
good
front.
question. I don't want to be in the middle.
The
Back.
middle's the worst.
Back. I'll take the back.
I'd be.
I'm in the front.
Oh, damn it! I want to be the front. Though.
No, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm the front. I don't care.
Can we alternate?
No. Yeah, he's gonna surgically remove us.
Actually, it's gotta take the middle. That's
yeah.
the worst, man.
Yeah, middle would definitely
Oh
be the
god,
worst.
I'm just
Or
stuck
the
to your
end,
fucking
maybe.
asshole.
The end, I don't know.
The end is the worst because of the end result. Like
Yeah, so
everything
you
that
get
gets down to you.
everyone's. Yeah.
But the middle has it on both ends. Like they're attached. Like the pain. Come on.
Alright,
Yeah, it's
have you
fucking
seen the second Human Centipede? Or
I
no?
haven't even seen the first one.
Oh really?
You haven't?
They're both shit shows.
They're terrible.
I'm not
But you have to
watching
watch
that
them
shit.
just for the how ridiculous they are.
I've
They're not
seen
good,
bits
though.
and pieces.
Well, there's
of,
3. But...
of
Oh my
like,
god, there's a third
yeah,
one?
of like all
Yeah.
of them. But I've never
Jesus.
seen the full thing, and I refuse to watch it. It's terrible.
So the first one was the weirdo, I guess
It was just a
doctor.
doctor. It was a doctor.
Yeah,
He
That
was,
was
like,
the one
famous-
at the prison, right? Or
No,
is
no,
that
no.
the second one?
He was famous for separate. Oh,
That's
there
the
is a
third
third
one.
one.
Oh, it's the
It's the
third
third
one.
one.
Oh,
So
okay.
how it is
I haven't seen the third
it's
one. then.
it's the doctor and then 2 girls.
One,
Two tourists because it's in Europe. It's like
Yeah.
Germany or something, and like a Korean or Asian, Japanese
Yeah,
something
yeah.
tourist too. So he kidnaps them. They wake up, and then he explains that he's got a whole room, like a surgical room, and he's got one of those little Elmos like they had in school.
Yeah.
There's puts the little film over it, and the light refract it's
Little
up on the
projector,
board.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
The
this is what
protractor.
that will do. And he's describing it, and he shows the little illustrations of their bodies, and they're just
Oh my god.
in these positions. It just looks so fucking funny. And he explains how he's gonna split the lips and attach it to the assholes and do this whole fucking thing.
Jesus Christ.
It's
So-
basically, it's not worth watching except for the
I
fact that
couldn't
it's
imagine it
ridiculous.
The second one is a guy who watched the first movie.
Yeah.
So the whole movie is black and white, and it's a crazy guy. He's a security guard. So he was like, you know what? 3 people? That's it? No, he made 8 people. And what he did was one part when he was watching the actual movie, he took sandpaper
And jerked off.
and he
yeah.
jerked off and he came.
So he's basically.
Oh,
The
God.
problem with it,
Jesus
and then the first one was
That's
all
like
about
torture
shock
porn.
factor. Yeah, the first one was all about shock factor. The
Uh,
second one was we have to amp this up to fucking the nth degree.
That's what
so it's
happened. That's why the Saw movies got so shitty.
Oh, yeah.
The first one was so good. I liked the first
The
one.
first one,
The second one wasn't bad either. But after that, they just pretty much had to amp it up.
I watched the
every
first
death.
one again a couple years ago, and I didn't like. There was
You
so
didn't
much
like
I didn't
it?
like. Well, except for the ending, I was just I like the ending, the twist.
Yeah. That was a dope
But when I was
twist.
watching, I was because I saw it when I was a kid, and I was I didn't remember how bad the acting was.
And see, I haven't seen it in a while.
Because
When I saw
one of the
it as a
actors
kid,
was the director or something like that, or he was the writer of it or
something like that. Yeah.
And the other guy was just some nobody actor.
Mm.
The 2 guys in the room, and it was just oh, they're talentless hacks. That's why they're so bad.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, the budget on the first one wasn't
Oh
crazy.
yeah, it was
super,
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they got that in theaters and it's kind of, it became sort of a pop culture staple. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
no,
Well,
for
that's
sure.
the same thing as Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
The first one had a budget of, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's
if
either
you need a bigger budget than to just put a fucking camera in a corner of a room,
it's either 15,000 or it's 100,000, and they made millions off of it.
Yeah, no.
That's how much money they
The
made.
first one wasn't bad.
no, the first one's not bad. I kind of enjoy it.
The third one for me is the best. That's when they go back in time.
Hell no.
I don't
It
even
was-
remember that one.
No, well, they don't go back in time. What it is it's VHS tapes.
I think the worst one was the one with the Mexican.
Oh, I was about to.
That was the
say
last
You
one.
saw that one?
Well, I think that's the last one.
I think it was second to last or something, but it was so bad. And
I
then
saw
at the
that in
end of it,
theaters.
at the end of it, they do go back in time. At the end of it, he gets
No, it wasn't back in time. It was a vortex.
Yeah, you
pretty
got
much.
stuck in.
Oh,
some-
okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Either, but he goes to the first movie. He shows up in the house of the first movie,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it takes place during the last night of the first movie, which is she ran into him, and that's why she screamed. Because, you know, at the end when she screams and she's like, my God! And
Yeah.
then he wakes up and runs downstairs and he's dead and the ball.
You see him actually die in that.
And it was just like, oh, this is retarded. Like,
oh, I get it.
you guys really didn't care, huh?
No, but the third one is when, I think it was in
when it takes place in like the 70s.
I think it was 70s.
I didn't care.
You didn't
I
like
never
it?
even watched it.
I thought it was amazing. Because the grandma was the one that was like possessed. And so she read.
She's like a part of a witch's cult or something like that.
It was a
they
cult,
basically
yeah.
were like worshipping demons, and they got demons to like follow the girls so that they could possess them when they got some bullshit like that. Just like some like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, so the house was possessed. So they were like, all right, you know what? It's too possessed. Let's move to grandma's house. Well, the grandma is a fucking witch, and she's the one that's possessed.
That's what you find out at the end. But the problem with those kind of movies is that less is more. The more information you get about these things, the more specific you get, the more that the narrative structure starts to suffer. Like, this is the type of thing, that's why the first movie is held in such high regard, because by the end of it, you really just don't know.
Right.
But then the more and more that you keep going with sequels, the more information you get, the less interesting it becomes. The mystery just dissolves away. Like, oh, it was a witch. Oh, this Mexican kid, like this and that. Oh, it was a teleported him in a closet. Like, and you're just like, it's so oversaturated with nonsense. You're just like, fuck me. I just really wanted to see an interesting, like, horror mystery. And now you turned it into this stupid franchise. It's all over the place. Like, the first one, another thing that makes it hold up is, like, you're just like, oh, it just ends here. It's dark, it's bleak, there's no fucking happy ending. He cuts his leg off, the other guy's definitely going to die there. He's not going to get very far because he's going to bleed out before he gets help.
Right.
But that's why
it. And then the more they built on it, they were like, now we've learned this guy's backstory, and eventually you learned he had a wife, and they lost a baby, and he had cancer at one point, and then now he's recruiting people.
It's too much.
And it was so stupid.
But that's why the movie you showed me, I thought it was Halloween, Hereditary. When they gave you,
it's a great movie.
They just gave you, like, it was like foreshadowing, but you don't see foreshadowing unless you watch the movie over and over.
Again. You have to
Have
watch
you seen
it
that?
Which one?
Hereditary. One of the best. I showed it. I had a movie night for it.
Oh, it was incredible.
I went to the movies to watch it, and I was like, people are not talking about this.
So the thing is with that movie, nothing happens for half the movie that you know of until you watch it again.
Yeah.
So the whole movie
Is that the newest one? Or...
No, Hereditary is just Hereditary.
Oh, I thought you said Halloween Hereditary. Oh, sorry.
No, we watched it.
We watched it at Halloween.
Okay.
I had like a viewing party or something like that.
Okay.
The first time you watch it, you're like, but
you start to see and notice things.
When the thing happens in the movie, you're like, holy fuck. Right. You know what I'm talking about.
Everything hits you like a truck when it does happen. Basically, the movie is like one big metaphor for like hence the title. It's basically a metaphor for like mental illness, like hereditary mental illness.
Right.
And they use the metaphor of like being haunted. Okay. And that's the metaphor of like what they're trying to explain mental illness as. It's kind of passed on, and they use this sort of idea of passing on your sins or your demons or your beliefs to your children, your grandchildren, and stuff like that. And it's sort of, that's how it works. Gotcha. And it all starts at the beginning of the main character, who's like a middle-aged mom of two. Her mother just passed away, and she kind of had this sort of...
You could bring that mic up a little bit.
Yeah.
No, like
that?
Yeah.
Closer to you, though.
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
She kind of had like not the best relationship with her mom. Her mom suffered from like a lot of mental illnesses and stuff like that, and it's almost like a sigh of relief when her mother is gone. Like, they had such a strange dynamic that she's kind of grateful that she's gone in a sense that she doesn't have to deal with her, but she's dealing with the grief of like the relationship she could have had with her had it not been for these things that kind of got in the way. And immediately things start to go awry. Stuff goes strange. And as soon as things start happening, you notice that like everybody's not okay. And it all kind of relates back to not necessarily the house or something following them specifically, but like relation to their family and their bloodline almost. You know what I mean? And we should watch it.
I'll have to check that one out. Did you guys ever watch that one I told you, Predestination?
No.
Oh no, I really want to though, because I remember we talked about it, and I had seen it like a long time ago. I know my dad watched it.
What was it about?
It's
one of those things where you don't want to know too much though.
it's kind of hard to explain without ruining it, I guess. But it's, in a sense, it's like this time travel mindfuck movie. Like you think, like, it starts off and you're like, okay, it's going one way, and you don't even realize like it's a time travel movie. You just think it's like a normal cop kind of movie.
Oh,
And
so
then
it's a movie.
Yeah.
It's not a documentary.
No, it's a movie. It's a movie.
Okay.
It has Ethan Hawke as the main character.
I love Ethan
Dude,
Hawke.
he's fucking dope.
Yeah, he's great.
Eagle Eye?
Yeah. Oh, was he in Eagle Eye?
Yeah.
What's Eagle Eye?
You haven't seen Eagle Eye?
That's the one with
What is
Shia LaBeouf, right?
Oh, that movie? He's not in that. That's Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah. Well, who you thinking?
Are you thinking of Shia LaBeouf?
Look, I'm just that guy. Let me look up on IMDb and be
Yeah, do that. Because that's the one with Shia LaBeouf where
with
the technology...
where it's like controlling everything.
Yeah.
That movie sucked.
Ethan Hawke, he was in...
Fuck you, it's a great movie.
Ethan Hawke has been in a shit ton of movies. He was in Training Day.
Oh, I'm an idiot. It's what's that vampire movie?
Blade?
Blade. No.
Twilight?
I'm so stupid.
Yeah, you are.
Hold on.
I know he's been in Attica.
He's been in a lot of fucking movies.
Yeah, man.
I'm
I'm
so
shit,
stupid.
man.
I meant to say Daybreakers.
Oh, Daybreakers?
Eagle Eye, yeah, Shia LaBeouf. I'm gonna stop talking. Good luck, guys.
That's a probably good idea.
Have a good podcast. I'll see you when you guys ask questions.
Fucking derailed us.
What's
I
it
blame
called?
you.
Yeah, I really want to get into it. I really want to see it.
No, it's a good one for sure.
I know the thing that it's based on,
Mm-hmm.
and I've always liked that kind of that question.
That
Because it really
theory or
is just
whatever.
like a question,
Yeah,
basically. Like, what if this?
What
And-
if?
But it presents it in, like, I've seen the trailer and I was like so enamored. by it. I
And
was
the
like,
way it was shot and filmed and everything, it's so good. Like, honestly, you
have
have to. It's one of those movies you have to go back and watch it again, multiple times, more than twice.
Yeah.
Because you'll see little things that you missed that you didn't even realize, like, from the previous time you watched it. Like, oh shit, okay, that makes sense. And then
There's a lot of stuff that's what I always tell people, like, dude, Hereditary, if you love horror movies, if you're not just someone who loves it, but like you have that kind of passion for it, where you don't need fucking jump scares or like that nonsense, like the fucking shitty violin, like to fucking tell you that you should be scared.
right.
If you want to feel at the edge of your seat and you don't know when something's gonna happen, you need to watch that movie.
Excuse me.
It performed so goddamn well critically,
Mhm.
but like nobody wants to see good horror movies. They want to see that fucking schlock
They want the
that
Hollywood
they throw
horror
out.
movie,
Yeah, they want to see Ouija and fucking all that nonsense bullshit.
That kind of goes back to what you were saying with the music thing. With the first Saw movie, there was no music in the first Saw at all, and that kind of set up the like that weird, like you were saying in a lot of like typical horror movies or whatever.
Yeah.
You always have that eerie music playing. It's like, oh, you know, the dude's fucking about to come and kill someone.
But that's the thing is music it's a good
It
cue.
is good.
If it's used properly.
Right.
But when it's overused or abused, I think most things suffer from like abuse of that kind of stuff right now.
No, for sure.
Is like it's either overused or it's abused, and I absolutely hate when I'm watching a movie of uninteresting characters and an uninteresting event, and the movie is trying to make me think it's interesting. Like I watch some dull action movie, and they're like dum 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 dum, and I'm just like, this isn't fucking making it cool. Like you're trying to make it. Like I saw that they're gonna do the Bad Boys for Life, you know,
the third one,
Bad Boys movie, and I didn't even watch the trailer because I was like, I already fucking know what the trailer is going to be like. Are you kidding me? I've seen the first two movies. I know how Michael Bay directs shit. I was like, I don't want to fucking see it.
Right.
I don't fucking want to see it.
No.
I was like, no thanks. I'm good. I know what
Bad
the
Boys
third
for
movie
Life?
It's because you're racist that black people are the main characters.
The only thing I hope
Let's
is
be
that
honest.
they put that P. Diddy song at the end, and it's just like down 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 down.
Fuck yeah. No, I'm excited for that one.
I didn't even
But
watch it. I didn't even see the trailer. I was just like, I don't know.
I think I watched the trailer, but I just like those movies. I wish that they would have brought the third one out a lot sooner than.
It's
the
really late
timing
now.
was terrible. That's the only
It
thing that
reminds me of
sucks.
when they did that Riddick movie.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And Vin Diesel's old as shit now. He's got like
Right.
no muscle definition.
He
He just looks like
fat.
he looks like a thumb. Like he's just like fucking. Like, what are they doing? I don't understand.
Did you ever see the Vin Diesel interview when he kept like complimenting
When
the
he's
girl?
creepy.
He's really creepy.
He's super creepy.
Have you seen that?
He's
So
a weirdo.
he's in an interview with this girl. Yeah, she's cute. Don't get me wrong, but
She's not
like
a
the
model.
whole entire time, he's like, "Come on, guys, are you serious? You really like? She's the one that's interviewing. Look how gorgeous she is. She's right there. It's like if our distance,
Yeah.
she's like, wow, she just looks so good.
He
So then
basically.
she'll ask him a question, and he'll be like, "I'm sorry, you're just so beautiful. Like I can't." And I'm talking about it's the entire interview.
Mhm.
When
And
was it- when
you
was
can
that?
tell years ago.
A couple of years ago.
But you can tell how uncomfortable
Oh,
she
I'm
was.
sure.
You saw her in her face,
Oh, God.
she was laughing, but you can tell it was like a sign of like,
uncomfortable.
please
like,
get me
help
the fuck
me,
outta
help
here.
me.
You're trying to do a job, and he keeps
Right.
derailing it. Like, this isn't the place for that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Or like,
Or
if
like
you're
maybe
kinda
like
playing,
one nice compliment, like you're
Yeah.
just by the way, yours is so beautiful. Like
And that's
one.
it.
That's
and then
it.
that's it.
But he
But like,
kept going.
he kept
Oh,
derailing the
Jesus
interview
Christ.
process, and it threw the whole. Everybody must have been so uncomfortable.
Everyone.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like the whole camera crew, everything. I couldn't fucking begin to imagine like how that girl must have been like. Wow, I've worked all these years to be taken seriously as a journalist or whatever, and like this is what it's come to.
No, but what is so funny is like you have such a huge actor like Vin Diesel, and then like even he makes you feel uncomfortable. It's like if The Rock goes on an interview and is saying like
He
says
jerks
this-
off like
he
on the
jerks-
interviewer.
on Kevin Hart.
But, like you can't stop it because it's The Rock. Like even if you wanted to stop him, he just like holds you down.
He just puts
with
you
a
like
finger.
puts your head.
He puts a finger on your chest
on
and you
top of
can't
your
move.
head. Just fucking running in place.
Here, so how about
Smell what The Rock is cooking.
what we do is, since I'm more the guy who you guys tell to shut up, I give you guys a time limit of how long to talk. So we just spoke for 15 minutes. We have 45 minutes left. I think we should get straight to questions.
Straight to the
Let's
top.
go into the first topic then. Let's go.
The last 5 minutes we can bullshit.
Let's go.
That's cool. So the first topic, we decided to do the
The last one, or the
Cancel
first one,
culture.
is going to be the cancel culture and its overall impact on the industries it's attempting to protect. So, give a little bit of a description of what I mean by that.
Okay, so when I thought of this topic,
Explain the whole.
well, essentially the reason why I thought of the topic was because I was rewatching Dave Chappelle's new stand-up special, Sticks and Stones, on
Beautiful.
Netflix, and it really brought to my attention, like, basically how so much of, like, PC culture has been trying to get him, you know, people to not watch the special, you know, as great as it is,
Mm-hmm.
because they just don't like the opinions and views that he states. And, like, it's a comedy show, so you shouldn't really be taking these things that seriously. Maybe they are his opinions, and maybe he does value these things in that way, but it's probably not the place to be looking at someone critically in that way.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I thought of that as, like, you might be thinking that this is helpful in the long run. But if all you're trying to do is silence people for having differing opinions,
That's what's
how are we... At a certain point, no one can have a different opinion. And how can we move forward in any way if we all have to think the same? Isn't that what we've basically been fighting against this whole
Right.
time? That we should all be individuals. We should all think different. That's how we've gotten this far, you know what I mean? If we all thought the same, we would, at this point, we'd still be fucking having buggies and horses and stuff like that.
Mhm.
We'd all be fucking Amish, basically, or living in caves like cavemen.
Or we'd just be fucking robots. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Or we'd be fucking each other.
Could maybe.
But basically I had this, basically what's been happening in the news as of recently was an indie game developer, I think. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he actually there were some accusations laid out against him over Twitter by an ex-girlfriend who's also in the games industry, right?
Okay.
And she basically said that he was kind of emotionally abusive, and, you know, during the end of their relationship, they were basically, he wouldn't let her leave the house. He was kind of restricting her on what she could say and do. And she basically, they'd been broken up for a while now, you know what I mean? Probably years, I don't know exactly the
But he's still
timeline.
trying to like control her.
No, not even that. She
Oh.
just wanted to air the dirty laundry. You know, it was kind of like, I feel like women need to speak up, and I'm wholeheartedly for that, you know what I mean? But there's a time and a place, and Twitter is probably not the place, like, especially if you guys have moved past it for the most part. And what wound up happening is he killed himself.
Oh,
Didn't you
shit.
just tell me before the podcast that you hate women's rights?
No, he said no. What he said was, "Want to hear a good joke?"
Yeah, women's
Women's
rights. Yeah.
rights.
No, but he immediately after like the posting of that, because he suffered from a lot of things. You know, he
Right.
had suicidal thoughts, and that was kind of the downfall of their relationship. Is he had a lot of different difficulties dealing with certain things, and he
I'm
wound
sure
up
he probably
he killed
obviously
himself.
had some
But
mental illnesses or
comes-
something going on.
But basically, the idea of like he couldn't handle the idea of the backlash of people coming at him. So immediately when this was
His first
posted,
response.
the first inkling of an idea that what would come was just let's end it. I can't even handle that.
That's
Could you
crazy.
imagine the impact that this has had so far? It's just so negative. Like
Mhm.
there have been great things to come from it. You know, a lot of people have come forward to accuse the people come forward with accusations that have gotten a lot of people justice. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Bill Cosby, this and that, all kinds of different things. People have really like stepped up, but there has to be a time when we understand the difference. You know what I mean?
No, like I said, or like you were saying earlier, I think there definitely is a time and place for it, but I don't think Twitter is a good. That's not a good place to
Definitely not.
put your all your stuff out there. It's a good thing to fucking put a bullshit tweet, make just a little joke here or there, or for advertising or whatever the case may be. But putting out your dirty laundry and shit like that, where you have all these random ass people that can just come in and comment on this, and obviously this guy, I mean, he knew like what would happen, because I mean, you go on social media at all, you scroll down your fucking timeline on Facebook, and you click on any semi-controversial topic or whatever, like if it's like a little ad for anything, you click on it, and there's always, you can see in the comment section, there's people just arguing back and forth. They never even met each other.
Yeah.
And they're fucking
I'm
having
one of
these
those people.
they're having this like crazy war.
I've been on like 6 months disputes with like thousands of people. Like I made a comment once on like a video for haircuts, and the comments turned into, it was like over 10,000 comments of me and like over 1,000 people like arguing.
No, but see that's the difference though. But you're trolling to
Oh
be
yeah,
funny.
I love that
but
shit.
there's
I
people
live
that
for
like
it.
take the shit serious.
100%.
And that's what the problem is.
100%.
And
yeah.
It's because your life is so shitty, so you take it out on people all the
pretty
time.
much what it is.
I love it. It's so problematic though, like, because I understand the good intention behind it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let's put everything out on the table, and let's try and move forward from it. But there's not like, it really depends on where you decide to air these things out and how truthful you are about the circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Did you in some way, not in every case, but did you in some way play a role in it?
Oh,
Because
obviously.
basically what has come to light now, because he killed himself, like,
Mhm.
you can't hear from his side anymore. Now it's just friends and family, but there's also a lot of people who are afraid to step forward because of the backlash that might come on him because of like victim blaming and stuff like
Mhm.
that, which is problematic in and of itself, because it's always supposed to have been the way our justice system works is innocent until proven guilty. The problem with cancel culture is you lay an idea out and people will immediately go to you're guilty. You need to be shut down. It's such a new concept where they're just like, we need to get rid of you.
Mhm.
Not what you're doing necessarily, not like where you live or what you believe, but you as a person are canceled.
Right.
And that never existed. You go back like 5-6 years ago, this concept of like canceling a person,
Mhm.
not just like let's cancel your show, let's cancel your stand-up tour, a movie you did. It's so fucking weird. It doesn't make any sense.
No, it's the thing that's the most crazy for me is the fact that when for they're quote unquote canceling these people, they're not even giving them the opportunity to redeem themselves.
Right,
So even if they did something that's questionably fucked up, they don't even give them the opportunity to be like, hey, I did fuck up. Let me either try to explain myself or just just come out and just the only person that as of recently that I've seen that's able to kind of navigate between that was Kevin Hart.
Right.
And he kind of bounced back.
I think he had to do like so much apologizing.
Oh yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But he was like walking on eggshells for like a year.
And no, I get it. I totally get it. That like, but it was also a long time ago. And like, sometimes I don't think you always have to apologize for the shit you've said. You know what I mean? But when it's a tough situation in that case. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
I 100% took it as a joke. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think he would actually do what he said. You know, break a dollhouse over his
Right,
son's
like
head
that's the most fucking
for
ridiculous
being
shit.
gay. Like, obviously, like Dave Chappelle brought it up. He's like, you'd have to buy him a dollhouse
Right,
just
like,
to break it over his
all
fucking
the
head.
extra shit you
Like,
have
you gotta
to
go
do.
to Kmart. You gotta get the fucking Barbie's dream house.
They don't have this one in order. Fuck, on a 2-week order.
You're like, I mean, it's a pretty good deal if I get the car too. You're just like, fuck,
So you're
man.
smashing cars.
Yeah,
no,
you're
it's
getting
ridiculous.
everything you can. But basically, I never took it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe there was some type of truth behind it, and that comes from his own insecurities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think a lot of what comedians joke about comes from their own insecurities.
Oh,
and things,
definitely,
you know?
yeah.
And as you grow as a person, and you learn and stuff like that, those thoughts and ideas change. You know what I mean? But I never took it seriously, and I thought for him to apologize for something like that, I thought.
It was like a step back.
I thought it was pretty obvious that, like, come on, he clearly doesn't think that, and even if he did, I don't think he thinks that anymore. Like, I really don't. I really didn't consider him to be like some type of bigot who.
No,
really thought, like,
definitely
that was
not.
So, and I don't know. It's just not. It's not the place for people. Comedy is 100% not the place for people to be making those type of criticisms against people.
No, I mean, yeah, especially with comedy. I mean, you go to a stand-up special or just any type of stand-up, and I mean, you're supposed to, at least like the way I was always kind of brought into with stand-up comedy, it kind of takes you away from the
Make fun
everyday
of black
bullshit. Sometimes, no, but it takes you away
Minorities.
from all that everyday bullshit where you can joke about it.
You don't have to see them.
Yeah,
You can just
joke about
picture hitting them. Like,
basically.
you gotta look at them in their different faces and all these other cultures and smell their foods and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Because
No, but yeah, I think so do you think the biggest issue is? Oh, okay. Let me rephrase that. Not the biggest issue. Do you think that with the cancel culture on with social media and stuff, where there's certain celebrities, quote unquote celebrities, or people that are verified or whatever the fuck it is, and then they get taken off completely off of Twitter, off of Instagram, and all that shit? Do you think it's because a the majority of people feel that way, or is it just a small percentage of people feel that way, and
here's the thing.
they're the ones that their voices are being heard? And why? Why is that?
You want to talk?
Were you gonna say something?
No,
He hates
it's.
blacks.
I love black people. Don't let them fool you.
His
They're the
drug dealer's
racist ones. It's two things that I believe that why it happens to certain celebrities. It's sponsors, and it's the group of people who think they're affected by a particular topic. Like, okay, Kevin Hart, he said the thing about gay people. How it said, like, if his son was gay, the dollhouse and all that crap, like it's a joke. He's a comedian. It's his job. Like, even then, I feel like no matter what.
Well, what if it wasn't a comedian? Like, what if it was a senator who said it?
Oh, 100%. It would be worse.
Well,
It'd be
what if
worse
he
if
said it in a joking way?
See, and that's the
But
thing.
the thing is, the fact that he's not a comedian, people are going to take it worse. So, back then, like, if you watch Seinfeld or if you watch older shows, they make fun of everyone.
Right.
They don't
Sure,
give a shit.
yeah.
Doesn't matter. But there's every show now, you can tell that there's a fine line. Most shows now have at least 2 gay people in
This
it.
is that thing
Or it
I
has
never
2
got.
black people in it. Has 2... Like, it's almost like it's wrong to have white people in it because...
Well, diversity.
Diversity is
They
great.
want to be inclusive to other groups, you know.
But the thing is, they make it so obvious of why they're doing it.
Oh
like
no,
Disney.
100%. I agree.
Disney, come
I was
on.
about to comment
Every
on
single
Disney.
show with Disney
I
is
agree.
ridiculous.
Well, did you hear about the new Batman? The casting?
No.
I know
So
Robert Pattinson.
Poison Ivy,
Yeah.
Rihanna, is being eyeballed
She's
for
a terrible actress.
terrible actor. And when you okay, so you and I we're more in depth with the comic
Super
book stuff.
good, yeah.
She's a white girl that's a ginger.
Yeah.
Why?
It's
why,
pretty
I mean,
significant to the like
Exactly.
the
I can play
design.
her.
The design of the character
Exactly.
is so iconic. It's
Exactly.
like changing that at all. I don't want to see that change because like if you made Batman like if you made him like blue and you got rid of this of like the bat
his
ears
little bat
and
horn
you like
thing.
turned it into a fin, I would be like, what the fuck?
That's not bad, man.
Well, the thing is, though, with a lot of main movies, especially like Batman, like the comic stuff, they make all the main actors people who are known. They don't give it to the underdogs who are supposed to be the ones who are running the next generation.
Sean Smith, give me the opportunity.
Which, by the way, guys, I will be
yeah.
moving to California to be an actor.
No, but I totally get what you're saying, because basically,
superheroes.
I always point this out when I watch,
Fuck you.
because Disney doesn't care about inclusion. They don't care about diversity. They care about what's big right now in the industry.
That's the problem.
What will earn them the most points, like woke points, and that's going to bring in the most cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get woke points for anything they do. So they were like, we're going to put a gay character in Beauty and the Beast. Is it a main character? No.
No.
It's
but
not.
The fact,
it's just
but
some
that's
random fucking side. And to me, if that's me and that's my group being represented, I feel so annoyed. Like they're patronizing me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand these groups that are like, oh, yeah, you go Disney. Look at you being diverse and you're including black people. Like, really? You're including one random like fucking shove off character? Like, that's inclusionary, that's diversity. They don't give a shit. And they don't have the balls to, like, create interesting enough characters that are of different cultures. And if they do, like, when it's these princesses or something like that, they're so fucking one note.
Right.
I can't tell you anything interesting about Moana.
First of all, I love Moana.
Oh,
because of the
please.
score.
The score!
So fuck you.
No, my biggest issue, like, with all that is, especially, like, when we're doing movies that are based off of comics or based off of
Established
source materials
yeah.
and stuff like that, you know, I mean, I'm all for diversity,
Yeah.
if it makes sense, though.
Of course.
But what they're doing is they're doing it off of bankability. They
Yeah.
know that this is gonna
100%.
people are gonna be like, oh, did you hear the new Little Mermaid's black? And like, because like you said, the woke points.
It's like,
again,
why?
Yeah.
Why? What is it? What does it bring?
Is it bringing any
bringing
artistic?
anything
You
to
know.
Is it? And or the only thing that making Will Smith the genie brought to that shitty Aladdin movie was that they did like fucking a crappy like hip hop beat behind every song he did. That's like, are you fucking serious? That's what they brought to it.
And see, so with that, as like I haven't seen the movie yet, so I can't comment too much. But for me personally, just because I grew up on like the Aladdin, like the animated one with Robin Williams, like, and I'm such a huge Robin Williams fan just to begin with. But like,
yeah, of course,
that's like what I envision when I think of the genie.
Well, sure, there are just some things that can't be adapted to live action.
It's so well, yeah, and that's another thing that's kind of pissing me off with Disney, especially.
Or just live action, like that.
Should we even talk about The Lion King?
That was one of my topics I put on the thing, live action Disney remakes.
So, did you see the?
I have not seen.
No. The photo. So, obviously the 2D version that came out in when did Lion King come out? Do you think
91?
94? Or oh no, yeah, it was 91.
Okay, so 91. Okay. So usually how remakes are done, sometimes they do the 2D, then you do a 3D.
Mm-hmm.
If they want, do a live action. Did you see there's an animator who animated from 2D to 3D?
Just like the same movie, but just turned it from 2D to 3D.
Well, pictures.
I saw, but I didn't. I still didn't care for it.
I thought it looked a lot better because
no. It remember we talked.
Remember we talked.
Yeah.
In the 2D version, like when
you get so much expression. From your characters.
When they were like, whoever listens, don't hate me. I'm terrible with names. But who the fuck was
Mufasa?
Was
Scar and Mufasa fell.
Okay, Mufasa fell. There was reactions from a 2D version.
Oh yeah, it's very expressive.
In the live action, there's no expression at all.
Because it's too realistic.
It's too realistic.
So basically, they did comparative scenes. Sorry. They did comparative scenes where they were like, this is Simba's reaction in 2D to seeing his fucking dad get trampled by wildebeest. And his fucking eyes pop open. There's fear. You can see it. His mouth goes, and his fucking face just completely changes. In the 3D live action, he goes and just opens his mouth. Because it's made to look like a real lion.
Right.
And you can't give that expression on a realistic animal. It's like when you watch like these movies where they have animals talking, and like you don't really get expressions from them. You have to derive it from the way they speak, but that kind of is a fault of like filmmaking if you can't get a believable performance other than what you're hearing and what you see doesn't really match up with it.
I think they jumped the gun. They should have made it like, okay, remember?
They shouldn't have made it, first of all.
The Game Boy
At
Advance?
all.
The Game Boy Advance?
Avoidance.
The Game Boy Advance. When you play it,
the avoidance.
It looks more so of like 8-bit. It looks more, you know, like how the fucking Game Boy Advance.
What's going on with you, man? We need merch that said Game Boy Advance.
Game Boy Advance.
This is why I don't talk.
This is
That's how retarded.
Exactly why.
This is an advanced way of speaking.
I don't like you. What I'm saying is they went from 8-bit and then like a Dragon Ball Z game. They go from like 8-bit to a 3D version, which looks really good because you can see the animation and everything. I think they should have done that for most of the live actions, especially with animals.
It's not even live action. It's still computer. It's a different kind of animation.
Well, I think they're doing
just a.
But how are they
That
doing
doesn't make
Lady
it
and the Tramp? Did you see anything about that?
The animals are CG.
So
it's not live action. It's going to be CG.
Well,
It's
the
gonna be
people might be. I don't know.
No, but
the dogs 100%
The actual
are
animals,
how
that's
it
gonna be-
should have been in The Lion King, not live action.
No, it's gonna be CG like the animals from The Lion King.
Oh, so it's going to be like realistic.
Yeah,
kinda.
but I don't know about the people or the world, but I know the animals for sure are gonna be the.
Well,
the
then
way that
obviously
were
they
in
would make
Lion
the
King.
people real. I mean, what's the
Depends.
point in doing like
I don't
3D,
know how they. I
you know?
don't. I honestly I don't know how they want to do it, but because if they want to make them look like the characters from the original movie, then they'd go CG. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's going to have its own issues too, because it's not. It's that sort of uncanny valley where it kind of looks realistic, but
Yeah.
it's so exaggerated and realistic at the same time that it's going to make you uncomfortable.
It's weird because like with the Lion King, like just seeing the trailers and shit, like it's like the artists and the people that did that, it looks super good. It looks
it does.
realistic,
It's
but it's
amazing.
like you were saying, it's weird because it's so realistic,
You can't get anything from
but it's not. It's like it gives off this weird vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I haven't seen the movie yet, but I just really wasn't interested.
No,
to be honest
100%.
with
None
you.
of these live action things.
So, since we're kind of on a time crunch, I'm thinking let's skip a question and let's go on to this one. So, the nerd/geek culture and its absorption and somewhat hijacking by normie culture, pros and cons. So, kind of make that simplified.
Okay, basically when I thought about it, I think I was watching like a superhero show, like a cartoon show, and I watched one of those live action shitty CW shows, that bullshit, or like maybe like I'll watch Daredevil or Punisher, but that's about it. Like
CW is ass. I don't give a fuck.
No, they're terrible.
Do you know there's one show? I won't derail this too
But that's
much.
a good example of it though.
The 100. Have you seen that?
No.
The first like 2 or 3 seasons are good.
I
and
haven't.
then
I haven't watched
once
the
it gets past
newest
that,
one.
No, I don't know about that.
But,
My girlfriend's watching it right now.
That was actually a really good show for the most part for being a CW show. But for the most part, those shows are really.
CW is ass. I don't give a
cheesy.
fuck.
I don't know about any of their other shows, but when it comes to their superhero shows, they're terrible. They just use the backdrop of like the superhero world to just make these terrible dramas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like the joke that people always make, comic book fans always make about them is it's just people in hallways crying and talking about their problems, and then every once in a while they put on superhero costumes, and it's shit. And it really is. It's terrible. It's not good. Yeah. But basically, and that's a good example of it though. The CW is like a definite con in but there's pros to it too. It brings more people into the culture. But the negatives of that are that more people think that this is a representation of the culture. And is that harmful or good? Because the same thing can be said with Star Wars. Like some of these new movies, I don't like these new movies. I don't like the prequels either. I like the original 3. I like the books, the comic books, and some of the games. Other than that, I can just take all that shit and leave the rest of it. I don't need anything else from the Star Wars universe other than what I already had. But like, this brings more people into it. It kind of keeps it alive longer. It keeps it more in the pop culture like frame.
Yeah, it keeps it relevant.
Yeah, but we're also introducing these people to it who are kind of like, I don't want to say not real fans because I don't know who determines who a real fan
See,
is.
that's the weird little thing for that is like what makes like like you were saying the fans of people of the CW version of shit.
Right.
I mean, they're still fans of it, but it's not how we interpret it.
Right.
Interpreted the character. You know, for
Right.
like, you know, Supergirl, or I'm trying to think of some of the CW ones that are.
That show
that
was so boring.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard. Like all of them.
I tried with that. I watched the first season.
What was the only one that I heard that was good? Arrow. I heard that one wasn't bad.
Season 1 was okay. Season 1 had good stuff
I
in it.
100% agree.
Season 1 had good stuff in it.
See, and that was the only
But
one.
I rewatched it recently. It's not as good as you remember it.
Mhm.
Right.
It's not as good as you remember it. When I first saw it, I was in high school and I was like, "Oh, this is the shit."
Yeah.
And
What is the rating stuff?
I think The Flash is the highest rated. CW
Well,
show,
not like rate. I'm sorry. Like is it
which
like
I have not liked
TV
The Flash.
14?
Oh,
or,
I think it is TV 14
TV14. No, 100%.
for the CW
Is
for
it?
most of their shows, if not all of their shows, but definitely the
TV14.
superhero stuff. Yeah, TV 14.
that's kind of why I feel like with
Netflix.
yeah, the way
Well,
they
not anymore.
well,
but
but they the way they
But
had
I
it set
think
up
they-
with all those.
They only did the Punisher and Daredevil good. Oh no, I'm sorry, Jessica Jones too. Jessica Jones was really good. Luke Cage was boring as shit.
It was that one. I feel like that was kind of like what we were kind of discussing earlier, where they're pandering.
Season
Oh,
1 was good.
towards- To,
Oh,
no,
entirely agree.
I liked it, but they overdid
like
it
I didn't
on
like it.
certain things. With they're pandering towards that, you know, urban stuff. Like, you know,
Oh,
the way they're-
100%.
That's
yeah.
the only thing
I don't know about that. I just thought it was really fucking boring.
Yeah,
I would have thought it was more interesting to sort of include him more in the neighborhood and what was going on. I just felt
Mhm.
like it was a lot of just like him in these random circumstances around the neighborhood.
yeah.
And then randomly towards the end of it, it was like he's the superhero of like Harlem, and I'm like, how? How the fuck is he like? Well, a building fell on him. He saved like a Chinese lady or something like that, or he saved Redman from being fucking shot inside that like
yeah.
bodega, and I was just like, okay. And then Redman read a shitty song. I was like, Jesus, what the fuck, man? You haven't I haven't heard music from you in a long time, and this is
That's
what
the
you
first
come out
thing.
with? Like, this song
No,
sucks.
that was I feel like because they at the time they were trying to get the Defenders up and going. Like
that was so shit.
Yeah, I feel like they didn't give enough time to build it up the way they should have. If they would have been, if they would have done the way they did, like especially Daredevil.
It was great.
Yeah, that was such a good one. But they
Season
developed the characters, and not only just the main character, but the whole universe around him. And they were able to do that. And you know, each season just kept getting better and better. And like you, like literally, like were involved in like these people's lives, basically. Like, oh shit, like what's going on? What's going to happen next? With some of the other shows, it wasn't. You didn't get that from it.
Dude,
like the Luke Cage.
Iron Fist was terrible.
Oh, that was I hated Iron. Well, let me take that back. I watched it again. The first time I watched it was terrible, but I watched it again and it wasn't as bad as I remember it, but it still wasn't great.
Well, the one good thing about Iron Fist is the Asian. I think
Who?
she is.
Wasn't
the
there a
Asian.
bunch of Asian people in that?
No, the main, the sidekick.
The girl, like his
The girl.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
No, she was cool. I mean,
No, you want to know? This isn't a real criticism. Go ahead.
No, what?
You know, this is just me joking around, but honestly, something that really annoyed me is their over dependence on Rosario Dawson's character to sort of be like the combining like she was basically made into like the agent Coulson,
yeah, of
like where she was somehow connected to each of them, and it was just so dumb. Like, first of all, I'm from New York, I'm from Brooklyn, and like you like never run into people in this kind of way. Like, it's just so stupid where you and all these other people know this one fucking person. That's like saying like you live. It's just so ridiculous. And they used her as like the staple of like passing information from show to show.
Right.
And it was just like, why? She's like a nerd. Like, they should have just kept her character really consistent to what she was. And it was just like unnecessary.
Well, I think what they saw how successful like the MCU was, like the actual movies, how it was so connective and everything linked together. So they're like, let's do the same thing here.
I think people loved it though. They were like, oh my god, look, she's here, and I'm like, for what purpose? What does she add to this?
I think that Defenders. I mean, like, I feel like the story itself was terrible, but I liked the very end when they all came together and then the building.
It was dope.
I didn't like it.
The part you didn't like that?
No.
I was talking about the part where Daredevil pretty much.
I didn't like that part.
He gave the keys to the city pretty much to Iron Fist.
Right.
The thing is, I love that Daredevil wanted to sacrifice himself, but to give it to the Iron Fist, like, no one, his show is terrible.
Well, that was because they were trying to follow the comics. Because basically, Matt Murdock dies at one point, and Iron Fist does take up the mantle of Daredevil.
Even though his character in the show is terrible.
Yeah.
Well, in
but
the show.
They
but
want
not,
they because they nitpick from the comics. They don't always follow the specific comic strip. Even when they pick a specific storyline from a title, they don't always follow it to.
Well, no, because then if they did that, then Daredevil would be ending. It would have ended at that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would have. But
well, I like the way the last season of Daredevil took off.
I actually
people thinking he's dead and everything.
I haven't seen the last season.
I'm gonna go take a piss.
The first half of it is really good. It's super strong, and then it kind of like
teeters out.
Wait, so give me the
hard.
mental or the mental.
The best
mantle.
part is when people think he's dead.
Give me the stick.
Stick?
The fire stick.
Do you guys want to pause or?
What are you talking about?
So when you go piss, you had to give me the stick. It's like
I
go to the Olympics when you're running.
Oh, the what the fuck?
Baton.
Maybe I'm fucking retarded.
The fire stick. I'm like, what the fuck? The fire stick. That's the thing. That's for the TV.
You have to pass it off.
Are we pausing or are you?
No. Keep going. I'm just gonna take a
No,
piss.
but we have to do some kind of ceremony, like when you go piss, and like, or when you go piss, I'm the guy that comes in next.
Okay.
So say something to the mic.
Sean, you got this. Don't fuck it up too much.
All right, go for it, baby.
Thank God Jillian's gone. Honestly, dude, we should honestly leave this podcast and then just make our own.
I hate Mexicans.
I have no comment. At least you're Spanish, so like you can say something. So,
I'm fine.
Whatever.
I'm fine. Like, well, no, the Mexican community will come after me because, like, within the Hispanic culture, there's like feuds between everybody. Though.
Look, I have my own opinion for everything, so I relate to none of these assholes.
It reminds me of when I was in high school. Like, there was this drama teacher. He was like, he was gay, but he was like openly gay. But he was also like super like bigoted and racist. But like everybody like basically sucked his dick. Like all of the drama kids, those fucking like weirdo drama kids. Like nobody called him on any of the like ridiculous nonsense he said.
Did he have the flamboyant voice?
Yeah, it was that kind of like he had that fucking beer belly.
Oh,
was, like,
yeah,
that guy.
Yeah.
He would like always wear like the shirts that were way too tight, and his stomach would flop over his tight like skinny jeans.
What
I forgot you have a bathroom in the room. I was like, dude, did you walk all the way to the other side?
Did you just piss in your corner?
Oh no, I just pissed my pants. I just changed my depends.
I pissed in your water bottle, Sean.
I thought you were into that.
No, but okay, so basically, at one point he starts talking about like he's like, how come all the like Hispanic communities are always like fighting and stuff like that, or like and like he starts talking about or like you always hear about like Colombians hate Venezuelans or like Mexicans hate like Puerto Ricans and he was like, but you never hear this about white people, and everybody literally in this class is almost all Hispanic, almost everybody, and I was the only one that said like, well, like the Irish and like the English were at war for a pretty long time, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Were you in drama?
Yes, dude.
When?
I was in stagecraft. I used to build the sets.
Oh,
When?
nice.
For like 2-3 years.
No, I mean like
In high school?
when I knew you
Yeah,
or
you knew me.
before.
Yeah, you knew me. Yeah, because I did ROTC. I was gonna go into the military, so I did ROTC in middle school and my first year of high school, and then after that I decided, no, fuck this. I don't want to do this shit. Fuck these people. Like it's not worth it. So then I was like, because you could just join the military. It's not like you have to do that shit.
No.
But
the people in ROTC that act like they're actually in the military.
oh god, that's why I left. Because like they were putting people
Our high
in charge.
school was terrible.
That's why I left. Because they were
There's
literally
always
like
at least one.
fucking putting kids in charge who were like complete shitheads, and then they would turn into like Publix managers where they were like, I'm God now.
Got him.
But basically, yeah, I was the only one who said that. I was just like, what about like how the English basically were just like impeding like all of these different countries and like enslaving their people, and the king would like fuck everybody's wives on their wedding night and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, no, there's some bad blood. I mean, even currently, like you go to Ireland, a lot of them hate the English. Have you heard of Brexit?
Right?
Like, what the fuck? No, but I was just talking, like, we were talking about, I was like, I hate Mexicans. And he's like, well, you could say that because you're Hispanic. I was like, well, the Mexican community could still come for me. I was just
They
like, because
can.
there's all that, you know, like, it only ever becomes like a cohesive unit, like when it's like an umbrella statement, like Hispanics are disgusting, something like that,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
everybody comes together and goes,
Like,
"Oh,
what the fuck?
how dare you!"
Yeah.
Like, but I literally just got into this like thing the other day where I was like, as a culture, like the Hispanic community has a bunch of racists in it. Like,
Oh yeah.
I quit.
So we have like what 12 minutes left.
Yeah, 15, 12 minutes.
We only got like 3 topics out of everything.
That's perfect. I honestly, I think we're gonna have to structure it to where we just do 3 topics per podcast.
We'll just fit whatever we can fit.
Yeah.
Well, no. Well, we only had the topics because I had to work longer today.
Yeah, but it's not a big deal though.
Anything that fits in is like
Mhm.
that's fine. We'll
I
just
mean,
use
it
that.
seems
And
to be
whatever
flowing
doesn't
pretty
go,
well.
like we just put to the next one.
All right. So
Exactly.
with 12 minutes, how about we do a fun question?
Yeah, let's do one of the.
So I say, if you had a time machine,
You
but no.
You want to do the podcast one or that one?
I was gonna say the podcast. If you could do a podcast with anyone dead or alive, who would it be? First, we go Julian, Sean, then me. We have like 3 minutes each.
All right. That's a hard one because when I made the question, I originally was thinking like music people that like my favorite artists that
That's
aren't
pretty
around.
good, yeah.
But then I was just thinking like it's like there's so many other people like actors or people that did athletes and shit like that. I'm like, well, I kind of want to meet them too. But I think I kind of narrowed it down. So I think this one probably should have been broken up into a category of like entertainers, athletes, and like historical figures. But I'm just gonna go off of this one. Yeah, I think I'd probably pick Tupac. Honestly,
That's pretty good.
like in all honesty, like he's probably one of my favorite rappers. But he's so like just influential just
Right, yeah.
in hip hop in general.
Yeah.
And he paved this whole thing, and I mean, I don't know, just like based off of like I've watched so many of the different documentaries of him because I'm a huge fan and stuff.
Yeah. You
Seeing
seen
the
that
way
movie
he
they made?
the documentary one that or which
It was
movie?
like a biography of his life. And they got like a sort of look-alike to look like him.
Yeah, that was
I heard it wasn't very good.
No, it wasn't the best. I mean, they're okay, but
Yeah.
my biggest thing is because like me just being an artist myself, just seeing the way he worked, like the reason why he's so relevant now. I mean, he's obviously a great artist, but the reason why he's so relevant is he put out so much music. Like he would go into the studio, be there for 12 hours, and he would record 10 songs in 12 hours.
Yeah.
And so he has a catalog of someone that's been in the game for 30 years, even though he was only, in there for
Got a new album coming out.
he pretty
This
much,
fall.
he pretty much can.
You know?
Because he got
Remember
so
that
much
old Dave
material.
Chappelle joke? And he's just like telling what's happening in the fucking club.
In the club, he's like, stop bumping
You got
the
a
fucking...
stain on your shirt. And he's like,
stop bumping the mic. God damn it, really, stop bumping it. Like, or some shit like that. But I think, I don't know. I mean, that's just the first one that I thought of real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you, who do you think you would do?
I think in the vein of you doing someone in the music industry, I'm going to have to go with someone who's alive, but is an icon nonetheless, despite their past and current situation. I'm going to have to go with Suge Knight.
I think you would say Jared the Subway guy.
I feel like he's going to have... Did he do his song that I'm unaware of?
Subway jingle.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Just so that I know for sure, he was the one that had child porn on his computer.
I think he fucked kids too.
Yeah, he was. I think.
Apparently, he was
Yeah, but is
driving to
that
other
confirmed?
states. I don't know the details of the fucking thing though. I'm
He's in
assuming.
jail. He's in prison.
Well, he's in prison. Yeah.
For
He's still in prison?
oh yeah.
Yes, dude.
He's
I mean,
never
he's
coming
got
out.
unlimited sandwiches though for life. Imagine like the deal's still stuck. They were just like, no, like you're good, like,
You're good,
but
man.
like we need you to keep this under the table for the rest of your life. But like, don't worry, you're not gonna get fat.
We'll fit what.
No, but I'll definitely I'd pick Suge Knight. For one thing, I feel like he's got the craziest stories of like the entire music industry. You know what I mean? Like, I could just imagine the shit that this crazy son of a bitch would tell me. And I also want to know if he really did inject Eazy-E with AIDS blood. Because he said he did.
Are you not afraid that he probably like kill you or like dangle you off a fucking balcony.
I think I'd have to have like some type of cage situation, like
some Hannibal Lecter shit.
No, I think it would probably be one of the most entertaining interviews of all time. But like at the same time, he's so reckless. I don't think he'd give a fuck.
Right.
I think he would literally like admit to anything, and I wouldn't even know what to believe, but I'd be fucking entertained the whole time.
Can I change my thing to OJ?
I mean, just go on to Twitter. Hello,
hey,
Twitter world.
I murdered a white.
We need to hit him up and be like, you know that book he did where it's like, if I did it.
Like,
I love the if. It must have been like the whole fucking top of the cover was just a giant if, and then I did it like right underneath it. If let me can I stress this enough?
Or it was small if and then huge I did it.
He's too fucking much, man.
Who would
you
bring?
Casey Anthony, without a doubt.
Jeremy Renner. I was telling him about this.
What?
Have you heard about the Jeremy Renner app?
The app got shut down. Dude, he's so stupid. All the photos that are on the app.
They're on Instagram too.
Every single photo is on Instagram. He
cross-posted onto Instagram, so it's like, why even... but he made money off of it, though.
I'm sure.
Like, dude, you can look and see, and it'll tell you how much money people were donating. So basically the app was... I already told you about it, but like, you know how people... They never, like, blacklisted the name Jeremy Renner. So it was just a bunch of clone accounts that called themselves Jeremy Renner and also used the same profile picture as him and were posting, like, outlandish fucking shit. And I give up.
I quit. No.
So I was gonna say no. Fuck you.
Casey, you just want to know if she killed the girl? What'd you do?
No. I was gonna say.
You flick your bean after.
For me, wanting to be an actor, I would say Chris Farley, without a doubt.
That's pretty good, actually.
Because a couple of reasons. Number one,
he knows where to get coke.
He dealt with depression his whole life. I mean, with him, like, first of all, he was the big guy, so like he always. From what I've read and done research on, he's always had issues with like his own like self-confidence, and like he's pretty much in a sense anymore. Like he's a clown in a situation because like when he'd go on talk shows, like he was the guy to laugh at.
Right.
Every talk show host would make fun of his weight, so like he always had some kind of like underlying reason why he became an actor is because like okay like you're fat so. Why not make everyone laugh?
Make me laugh, fat man.
Yeah.
No, and
do a dance.
Who was the talk show that I think it was Conan O'Brien or something, or it was
definitely wasn't Conan O'Brien.
No, it was some older kind of guy that
Jay
all he
Leno.
did was make maybe all he did is make fun of his weight the entire time. So did you see the video with him talking about making people laugh and not understanding him?
Nope.
He did a song. It was a joke, quote unquote joke.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
You saw that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was super
sad.
Like
it was super sad, but
because
like
he was like trying to be funny, but like it wasn't like he was being serious.
It was
like,
serious, 100%. Like, why do people like take drugs? I mean, like, you think of what's his name? Bam
Margera.
Yeah.
Self-medicating.
That's what you would call it?
Wait, what happened?
Why people like abuse drugs and stuff like that? They're self-medicating. It's psychological. Like
that's why he did it. He claimed because it was his mom and it was his wife.
Yeah,
that's why he said it, and because of fame.
It's people's it's the same reason why people abuse all kinds of things: alcoholism, sex addiction. Like if you're addicted to eating food or not eating food, you're self-medicating in the ways that you think are helpful to you, but you don't realize how destructive they are. You're just trying to numb the pain and whatever. People cut themselves. It's the same thing. Your brain is capable of doing so many kinds of backflips to make you think that what you're doing is okay and helpful to you. Because,
that's the fucked up thing
that's
about
why
it.
That's why you have to go to someone else to figure out what's going on with you.
But I don't think he did that. That's the reason why he died, because of overdosing. You know what I mean? I mean, that's why I chose him, because not only does he have reasons why he's successful, but like the amount of depression he had. I mean, you could do, oh my god, how many conversations on that? Like him talking about his life, and I'm sure.
I just want to ask about Tommy Boy.
Oh my god, I'm obsessed with that movie. Do you remember I did that monologue?
Yeah, that's funny as hell.
I never told you.
We used to be obsessed with that movie.
So I went, and it was called a showcase. Mm-hmm. So in a showcase, what you do is you show yourself to a bunch of judges. So I went to New York.
You did tell me about this. Yeah, yeah.
I did?
Yeah.
I did? Okay.
Yeah.
So I went to New York, and I was like, dude, I love Chris Farley so much. Fucking love him. So I was like, let me do Tommy Boy. So I built a Lego set.
Wait, but where did you build it, though? It was my 21st birthday.
Do you want to talk about that?
Well,
How I built the Lego set?
Yeah, it was at a house party for my birthday. Mine and my friend, we share the same birthday.
Yeah.
And he rented a house off of like Airbnb, and it was like over like 300 people showed up.
Oh Jesus!
And
it was a small house.
And we were like, let's just fucking. There's too many people inside. Let's go to the back patio where the pool is.
So we had a whole group
smoking, drinking, and we're like. He busts out a Lego thing, and I'm high as shit. I'm drunk. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm trying to put this shit
now,
together.
I'm not even high or drunk. I'm literally building a Lego
He's like
set.
completely normal, but we're all like everybody else at the table is like everyone wants to chip in, so everyone grabs Legos, and we're trying to build shit. Whatever. Fight breaks out. Somebody gets the shit beat out of them. We all run.
No, because the cops got called.
Yeah, well, because that kid, basically somebody showed up with a group of friends that another person didn't like. They took a bottle, they threw it at their head. That person and all of his friends beat the living shit out of that kid.
I could imagine.
So, something hit a wall and it sounded like a gunshot, and everyone, you ever seen 300 people run out of one house before?
I haven't.
It was chaos. We're all fucking screaming. We're just like, where is everyone? It looks like that movie Cloverfield, where it's like that
Jesus
first camp,
Christ.
like where you're just like,
at the party. Yeah.
where is she? Where is she?
Did you see the South Park remake?
Yeah, with the guinea pigs. Yeah. I'm so startled. No, it was ridiculous.
But the best part about the party is we got pizza before so many people came.
Yeah.
Because we got there early.
We wound up having to leave pretty quick though because of that shit. And
no, you told me to hop the fence.
We wound up going to Denny's after that too.
Nice. IHOP and Denny's is the place to go after fucking partying.
Any more questions or?
Well, it's 6 o'clock. I have to piss so bad.
Yeah, no, we'll cut this. Yeah. Yeah. We'll continue next. Well, let's do a quick outro, just real quick.
Oh,
well, because remember, I got
actually, no, we don't even have to. We could.
Well, no, we could do an outro right now.
We can, or we can do it post editing.
So pretty much like just fuck whatever we say right after I'm done talking, and just I'll do the outro.
Since outros and intros.
Do you want me to do the intros and outros, or all of us? What do you want to do? Because what I could do is I could be the voice. I could be the intro and outro, and then the questions, and editing.
Yeah. I think we'll try it with. I definitely want you to do the intros, and we'll try it with the outros. Maybe outros we all do.
I don't like Sean though.
Oh, we fucking hate Sean.
Dude, I hate that guy. Let's get rid of him.
I'm talking to myself.
So we're just gonna stop right here then.
Kill him.
Boom.